A ton of present-day ladies deal with men like ATMs on legs, anticipating that they should make a few bucks with zero trace of regard or appreciation consequently. Men's needs for recognition and appreciation are ignored like trash from yesterday, reduced to nothing more than paycheck dispensers. It resembles their simply foundation props in the excellent show of a lady's life, there to fill a need and afterward blur into the landscape. Be that as it may, here's the kicker. Men are awakening to this hogwash. They're finished with being dealt with as they don't make any difference past their wallets.
Women need social proof. We don't.
That's not true.
That women don't want social proof?
Status? No.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. We met in London, and you find me attractive. I'm like, oh, I'm throwing a party. Like, I'd love for you to come. Bring some of your girlfriends. It's going to be awesome. And you're like, cool, yeah, for sure. You show up, you and your girlfriends, and there's 50 dudes and like 3 girls. Are you staying?
No.
Okay. Switch it up. 50 girls, like 5 guys. Are you staying?
Yeah.
I wonder why. Social proof is important, isn't it?
It's not about social proof.
That is social proof.
Women feel more comfortable being in an environment full of women.
See, here's the thing. Your ability to feel safe is rooted in social proof. The man being able to have a bunch of women there displays an ability of, this guy has some kind of social semblance, this guy's able to...
See, I wouldn't have even thought of it like that. I would have been like, great.
Because women live life on easy mode. You don't even understand all the bits and pieces of work that go into men creating an environment for women to have fun. Like, this is what I mean when I say girls have zero concept of what it's like to be a man or to be attractive. And
why sit around idly on somebody who doesn't consider your worth to be an individual? All things being equal, these men are deciding to zero in on themselves, their own development, and their own true serenity. They're dumping the show and putting resources into something that really pays off: personal growth and individual satisfaction. This isn't simply a pattern, it's a development. Men are recovering their self-esteem and expressing no to uneven connections, where they do all the hard work without even a thank you consequently. By putting themselves first, they're not simply making do, they're flourishing. They're building experiences that are satisfying, not depleting, and searching for accomplices who offer something of real value other than assumptions.
Most men find most women to be at least somewhat attractive. In contrast, women on average view 80% of men as below average in attractiveness. Another study found that on the dating app Tinder, men liked more than 60% of the female profiles they viewed, while women liked only 4.5% of male profiles. I didn't realize that 80% of men as below average. That's quite off.
It is, because, you would think like 50%, right? It's sort of like 50% above and 50% below, but to have 80% rated below is pretty grim.
Because of the increased risk women carry, they tend to be choosier about their partners. In contrast, men are less discerning. Studies of online dating, for example, find that
this is tied in with tracking down equilibrium, regard, and common appreciation, something the cutting-edge dating scene could utilize much more of. A great deal of these purported supervisor ladies are scratching their heads, asking why men are swiping left or simply ghosting them out and out. They've hustled hard, ascended the company pecking order, and presently have the corner office to demonstrate it.
A lot of things will be hard for you to comprehend. That's why you're in sex work, because you can't offer value in the marketplace.
What the f?
Don't worry, I'm not really talking to you. I'm speaking against you as a symbol.
A symbol of what?
A symbol of a declining society where people lack values. So the point is this. If you had IQ and skills to offer to the marketplace, you can earn a good income. Being that the most valuable thing about you is something that you never earned. You didn't earn knowledge, you didn't earn skills. It's your breast that you paid for and your butthole. So you market that to earn money, which is to say, if I took your brain and placed your brain into a man's body, you would be in poverty.
I'm just good for nothing. Yep, you caught me.
No, you are good for something. That's why you have OnlyFans. And that's my point, is that that's what you're good for.
Be that as it may, prepare to have your mind blown. When it comes to dating, it appears that all of the success in one's career has backfired. Men are still held to the traditional expectations that require them to be providers and in charge. Be that as it may, when they meet a lady who's filling those jobs for herself, the dynamic gets chaotic.
I'm done with situationships with guys who just use me because, they want to sleep with me, or they just, want to hook up with me, or like or something like that.
Let me guess. You've realized your worth now as an older woman. You have matured, and you're just not gonna make the same mistakes because your value at 30 plus is so much higher now. So the next guy that comes around is gonna have to jump through 10 times the hoops.
Okay, PSA to all men. Just because a girl is wearing a low-cut shirt or a tight top or a fitted outfit doesn't give you permission to just stare at their chest. It makes us so uncomfortable, and if you guys could please stop doing it, it would be amazing. Men will always be like, oh, we don't like being called creeps, or we're so scared to be called creeps, but then you guys make it so difficult for the female species to exist or even wear anything.
Okay, in case you guys didn't hear a word that lady just said, she said don't be creeps, don't stare at her. No matter what she's wearing, no matter what any other woman is wearing, don't stare. I mean, even if she has like a flamingo on her head, you better not stare. Even though it's like totally human, you know, when somebody is just being totally obvious and flaunting, you know, maybe they're even like dancing with that flamingo. Yeah, you better not look unless you're attractive in her eyes. So like, okay, so it gets a little muddied, I know. So if you're attractive, so, you know, you gotta look at the scale. So if you're maybe an 8 or 9 or 10, she probably, you know, she's a 10 up there, so like you might really need to be a 10. Don't look at her unless you're that, because we all know.
These manager ladies could think their freedom and achievement make them more alluring, yet it frequently sends the message that they don't require any other person, particularly not an accomplice. Men aren't seeing them as potential equals. Instead, they're seeing a big red flag that says this woman's career is more important than anything else, including him.
With the way my dating life is going right now, I feel like I'm going to be single for a long time. Like a long time. I literally just cannot stand. I cannot stand these vanilla ass men. You're boring. You don't intrigue me. And at this point, I'm like losing faith in all men. I just feel like they all want one thing. And if that's what you want, I'm the wrong bitch. Go somewhere else. I cannot tell another man what I like to do on my free time. I can't do it. And I don't give my attention to anybody. And when I'm finally like, oh, like he's cute, like let me talk to him. You're boring! You're boring! You suck!
How do you think men feel when they're typically the ones pulling all of the weight, and in response, they get one-worded responses, 2-hour gaps in conversation, and 0 initiation? The bottom line is that a lot of men today feel like it is pulling teeth to get to know a woman. So if you as a woman don't even want to talk about your hobbies, yet you're telling men that they're too vanilla, they're boring, I'm sorry.
So you said this about Mgtow. This is probably 40% of the reason I moved to Romania. In Eastern Europe, none of this garbage flies. You go to the police and say he raped me back in 1988. They'll say, well, you should have done something about it back then.
That one small sentence you've taken was from a 1-hour video where I explained that, of course, rape is disgusting. Of course, everybody should be punished for their crimes regardless of when they happen. But people are not perfect, male and female. And if you give women the opportunity to destroy men's lives without evidence, there's going to be a contingent of women who will do that. I'm trying to make a balanced and nuanced argument in a world where people have no attention span. They're going to take a few seconds, put it online, decide someone's good or bad, not be interested in the longer format video. We live in a world now with TikTok videos 5 or 6 seconds long. There's no content.
In this way, while these aggressive ladies are left asking why their accomplishments are met with a brush-off, the response is basic. Men aren't keen on taking on a supporting role to a task title. There's actually no need to focus on dreading resilient ladies. It's about not having any desire to feel like an assistant to another person's life plan. If these manager ladies truly need to comprehend the dating dry spell, they could have to re-examine how they're introducing themselves and what they're really presenting past their noteworthy list of qualifications.
Instinctually, women want a man to be a leader. But there's programming in society, typically from feminism, which tells women to go be boss babes and to, you know,
You can be that leader.
Well, so I think what you have is women still, like on some, as you said, instinctual level, want a leader. Yet it's not clear to me if, granted, and I think men are also failing at this too, in the sense that there's a lot of men that are not up to par. But I also think that even if they do find a man who's up to par, a lot of women are not prepared to follow. Because in order to be led, you need to be a follower.
Yeah.
That's the paradigm. So I think a lot of women are not prepared to be followers.
Most of these women, these feminists, they're very unhappy people, right? It just seethes out of the body. You know when you meet somebody and they seem joyful and that energy is contagious to you? So many of these women, modern women, I don't need a man, this, that, feminism, what's great for women, they just look rancid inside, right? Like something rotten's coming out. They got an expression all the time. It's like these female CEOs sometimes. I hate to say it, not all of them, but a lot of them look like they're just inside, just spoiled milk. You know, it's ready to bubble over, and let's just hope you're not in the way when it does.
In the present America, many guardians have failed with regards to bringing up their children with any genuine comprehension of the various jobs people can play in a relationship. The outcome: an age of young ladies who believe that in the event that they can take care of their own bills, men are just obsolete embellishments. These ladies grow up with the possibility that monetary freedom is the end-all be-all, making them oblivious to the significance of shared regard and backing in an organization. In any case, when young ladies grow up without this vital example, they wind up battling to frame associations that are based on common regard, support, and, might I venture to say it, a smidgen of customary thinking. Furthermore, until this outlook shifts, they'll continue winding up disappointed in a dating scene that values something other than a fat financial balance. And that wraps up today's episode of Manosphere Daily. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified as soon as a new video is out. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.